Angling is a series of choices, from an infinite number of options, some simple, like what's your target species, to the complexities of understanding fish location on a seasonal basis. Then there's the myriad of presentation options. It's as mental of a game as physical. Each challenge is different, but the basic process remains the same. For angling is like solving a living, breathing puzzle. And to see the big picture, you need the fishing edge.
Whoa! Look at the size of that bird.
Wow.
Look at the size of that pike. Oh. Oh, that one, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's a huge one, man. It's huge. You might want to watch reel that line get her up.
You know, the common carp has been around for a long time. Populations are established, but that doesn't mean we don't need to still clean, drain, and dry.
Spring brings that magic feeling of excitement and anticipation out of the cold. It's a time of year for some really big fish. Just days after ice leaves rivers and lakes, some of the biggest fish of the year can be caught, and bottom feeders are one of the first games in town. We'll slide the John boat across the ice for the best lake sturgeon bite of the season, and we work our way into the backs of bays for a fish almost no one targets, carp. It's a nasty invader that's gotten into many of our waterways across the country. And where they're present, and they're present by the ton. They're an invader that's here to stay. So make the most of the situation and enjoy the challenge and power carp have to offer.
A lot of times the carp, you find them in these bays off the main lakes when you have a temperature gradient, say of 5 to 10 degrees from the main lake to the bay. And because it's so shallow, you can't use your electronics to find fish, you've got to use your eyes. So we scan looking for maybe seeing individual fish swimming. Sometimes you'll see them rolling, and then a lot of times the indicator is mud. You see the water color turn really turbid, and that's the fish uprooting. So as soon as you see a watercolor change, or maybe you do happen to see the fish, we'll pull up to a bank, or we'll drop anchor and we'll set up on them. But the way you find them, don't just pull in somewhere and set up. You want to do your research, drive around and look for them, find them with your eyes, and then set up on them. We haven't seen any yet, but I know there was hundreds, if not thousands, in here last night. So they move around a lot. You see them one day, they're in that corner. Maybe by the afternoon, they're in the other corner. They're just moving and eating. And when you find them, you set up on them. Once they quit biting, you move down, try to find where they are again, and it works out pretty good.
When I say we're not using our electronics to find these fish, I mean that in a classical sense, like using your sonar, down imaging, or side imaging. We do, however, use our electronics in a more clinical sense. Let me explain. Take a look at this lake. We know carp are some of the first fish to come into the shallows in the spring, so using my shallow water highlight feature, I can find the most likely locations in just a few keystrokes. Boom! You've just eliminated most of the dead water in the lake. The funny thing is, the big motor doesn't seem to spook the fish that much. You can be right on top of a school oftentimes before they spook. This allows you to get a read on the size and the number of fish you're casting to.
Common carp are actually some of the smartest fish, so they're incredibly spooky.
Wow.
We're going to be casting slip sinker rigs out to them today, so boat positioning is pretty critical, and we like to use nature as an anchor when possible. The fish are positioned pretty close to the shoreline, so we're just going to nose the boat up into the shoreline. That way the boat is completely locked down and stationary.
Big one!
You got fish there?
Oh man, they're just loaded in here.
Oh, there he is. Hey, you! Yeah. Fat boy, you can't get none of this. Look at me. I got moves. I go left, I go right, I go left again. Watch it. Oh, there it is. Psych! I'm so erratic, I don't even know where I'm going. Come on, chubby cheeks. Come on, bucket mouth. Come get some of this. I can do this all day long. Look at me, watch this. Come on. Your mama's so fat that she can't get out the fish net. Ow! I'll give you that one.
In fishing, nothing beats the confidence and enjoyment that comes with using the best equipment. There's a reason why generations of professional anglers, guides, and camp operators make Lund their boat of choice. They stand up to the elements and the repeated use that hardcore anglers put them through, season after season. They're guide-tested, wilderness-proven. Isn't it time for you to experience the Lund difference?
We tried beating it senseless, bending it in half, and punishing it with extreme temps, corrosive salt water, and blistering UV rays. And all Talon did was ask for more. So we wanted to know what Talon's breaking point really was. We'll let you know if we ever find it. Talon, born tough, tested tougher.
Really? You're seriously just gonna leave me in here?
Yeah, I'm fishing deep today, Ike.
Are you kidding me? These are perfect conditions for pulling big bass out of heavy cover.
Yeah?
Heck yeah! Try one of these weedless wacky jigs.
All right, yeah.
It has an offset hook and stainless steel weed guard. Whoa! Ah,
Sorry, Ike.
flip it in there, and its wacky action will have you pulling out one fat bass after another. Please!
I can't say anything.
Closed captioning provided by Northwest Ontario, Canada.
Oh, big one.
You got fish there?
Oh, they're
Yeah,
man,
so
they're
this
just
is
loaded
looking
in
good.
here.
We got fish all over the shore. We're gonna pin the boat. We're gonna cast our rigs out there, so now we're not dealing with any boat movement or our line moving based on the boat. If the line moves, it's a fish. One vital element in bottom fishing for any species of fish is boat control. Now I have to be honest, this was our first fishing trip of the year and we were gonna be bottom fishing. So what did I forget? The anchor, go figure. Anytime you're bottom fishing, whether it's carp, cats, or sturgeon, there's some key points. First, be quiet. Less noise, the better. Second, long casts. From our experience, the further you get the bait away from the boat, the better off you are. Third, let the bait do the work for you. Give each cast a set time to work. Fourth, now this is the most important, and it's boat control. You need your boat locked down. It's pretty simple math. If the boat shifts and your rod is in a holder, it shifts the bait on the bottom, and that's a bad thing. These fish are generally scent-oriented feeders and need time to track in on the bait, so it's imperative that the rig doesn't move. Now, when we filmed this episode, it was early spring, and my boat wasn't fully rigged yet. I forgot the anchor, so we relied on beaching the boat to anchor it. In the weeks to follow, all of us at the office received our first shallow water anchors, the Talon. Now, before we had these units, we didn't know how much we'd use them. Well, let me tell you, this tool became a mandatory item on all of our boats, and the applications for the Talon have become almost limitless. We use the Talon for spooky smallmouth in shallow water. We pinned in on small rivers for giant catfish. In fast-flowing waters, the tool is a lifesaver. And at the boat landing, you can park like a rock star and just pin in while you're going to get the trailer. I can't tell you how many compliments I've got. Now, the Talon has a 12-foot retractable pole, which gives any angler even more leverage to lock in and pin down for the ultimate boat control. I learned a valuable lesson this year. Order your equipment early so you can take full advantage of it all year long.
I'm gonna grab another crawler here, and while I'm doing that, I'm gonna show you the system that we're using to catch these fish. This is just a VMC 1/0 octopus style hook. This is 30-pound suffix braid as a leader, barrel swivel, and then just a piece of lead. This is an 1.5 ounce piece of lead. And it seems like heavy lead for a bay that's 3 feet deep and covered in mud, but the idea with this is a lot of times when you're casting, it gets twisted up like this, and the fish, if the fish feel the bait, they drop it a lot of times, so having a big heavy piece of lead works really well. As soon as the fish feels that hook and they start to run, this big piece of lead on the bottom creates enough friction to get the hook started into their mouth and they hook themselves. One thing you want to have carp fishing, hands down, is you're better off to use a very heavy piece of lead, as opposed to light lead. You're just going to hook a lot more fish. Their mouths are so sensitive that they'll drop the bait. And because the bottom is so soft, the crawlers are getting a little shot of air injected into them just to keep them up off the bottom so the fish can find them. So these are actually floating crawlers. Then the sinker probably buries 6-8 inches into the mud, and then that puts this worm about that far off the bottom.
Carp are some of the most revered sport fish in Europe, and these guys take their rigs and equipment to a whole new level. There's a giant market out there for carp fishermen. So much so that Rapala invested 6.5 million euros in the carp business by purchasing dynamite carp baits. This is a bold move into the carp game, but that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is hooks and rigs. There are a myriad of rigs to catch carp from Canada to Cambodia, and the business end is vital to success. That means hooks. VMC makes a style of hook for every bait application out there. Like I said today, I'm using a 1/0 octopus hook, which is great for crawler fishing and has plenty of backbone so it won't straighten out in heavy cover. Well, what about corn? Hey, VMC makes a bait holder hook with a long shank for threading corn on it, and it can stand up to the pulling power of these fish. Dough baits? Well, VMC's 9650 round bend treble is perfect for balling up your favorite dough and allows for long bomb casts without throwing off your bait. Line is critical in the carp game, and it's pretty simple. We use 30-pound Suffix 832 braid across the board. The only difference is we use camo line for a leader because carp have great vision, and then we use high-vis yellow for the main line to easily detect bites. Another advantage to braid is it cuts through weeds extremely well. Carp are very smart and very tough, so you have to take every advantage you
You
can.
want this other rod?
He didn't mess around.
No, I was a quick one on the draw for that. Rod just folded over. Whoa! That's the nice thing about this type of operation. It's pretty easy fishing. And when these fish pick it up, they go. Unbelievable. And these fish happen to be one of the first non-native fish that was introduced to our waterways across North America back in the 1800s. It's the common carp. And they are some tough customers. Look at that.
Big yellow lab with the tail.
Giant carp as far as carp go in this bay, but anywhere you'd go, this would be a really big fish.
They tend to run large in this body of water.
They do.
That was the right bite there.
Yeah.
No
Rod
messing
folded
around.
Over. Look at that. He's gonna give me a couple runs.
There she is.
Yeah.
That's a nice one,
It's a
Jared.
nice one, yeah. Yeah, it is.
Be happy with that.
Let's see if she'll give me I got a feeling she's gonna want to go one more time.
Why take chances with your engines? Protect them from neglect, wear, and tear the easy way with Seafoam Motor Treatment. Seafoam helps to maintain top engine performance by removing harmful deposit buildup from your engine and fuel system. Control moisture in gas and diesel. Stabilize fuel for up to 2 years and lubricate your engines to start easier, run cooler, and last longer. Trust all your engines to Seafoam Motor Treatment, the choice of mechanics for over 70 years.
Are you finding it harder and harder to spend time with your family? All you need is the right place to reconnect.
Big walleye, Dad.
Got it. Here we go. This is fun.
Northwest Ontario, your place to reconnect.
Suffix 832 is constructed with 7 strands of Dyneema and a single strand of Gore Performance Fiber. It's the roundest, longest casting line in the world. It offers superior abrasion resistance so you can fish it anywhere. It's the strongest, most sensitive, and durable small diameter braid ever to hit the water. Nice fish, Brett.
Thanks.
Suffix 832. Always use the best line.
It's time to put a new spin on innovation. and touch off a revolution. It's time to push boundaries and leave our mark on the world. It's time to say goodbye to excuses, limitations, and half measures. It's time to get it together. New Onyx with Cross-Touch. Now, everything you can do with a touchscreen, you can also do with a touchpad. Only from Humminbird.
The Edge is presented by these and other fine sponsors.
Kind of lumbering a little bit. Yeah, a little reluctant. Well, I'm not going to mess around with her. If she's coming up, we'll take her. Oh,
Got it.
There we
All
go.
right. There you go. That's a nice fish, man.
You can see why.
Ooh, look at that. That's a good one. It's a little bigger than I actually thought it was. Let me grab this. Hook out. Boy, that's a slimy customer. Look at that.
These
guy.
guys aren't as easy as bass to grab. You almost just gotta.
You kind of gotta just
belly lift them like this.
Huh? Look at that.
Like a lab, but
Look at that.
yep,
That's
what a
a-
beautiful fish.
They are a beautiful fish. However, the results of having these in a fishery are not beautiful, to say the least. These fish have been here for over 150 years, introduced in the mid-1800s, cultivated for food. Europeans value these fish. They're highly esteemed, so they were brought over by settlers for food, but they've invaded a lot of lakes across North America in that century. But we also have some more threats on the horizon, and today we're going to share with you some of the threats that may be facing our waterways here soon, what we can do to prevent it.
Recently, we got a real education on invasive species by producing a documentary for the Minnesota DNR. But this isn't just a Minnesota issue. It's something that all states and provinces in North America are dealing with.
Foremost among the invertebrate invaders are zebra mussels, small striped mollusks about the size of your thumbnail that multiply at incredible rates. Zebra mussels encrust rocks, docks, boats, and water supply intakes with a sharp coating of shells. Meanwhile, their larger but lesser-known relatives, quagga mussels, colonize deeper water. Zebra mussels are found in portions of the Mississippi and St. Croix rivers, and in select popular fishing lakes like Mille Lacs, Gull, Minnetonka, and other waters.
Zebra mussels and quagga mussels both present a really serious threat to our inland lakes in Minnesota. They feed on plankton, the microscopic plants that are in our lake, and this is the base of the food chain. And if the zebra or quagga mussels build up high enough densities in the lake, they can strain out so much of this plankton population, the base of the food chain, that there may not be the food available for other animals in the lake, such as the game fish, and this could have serious long-term impacts on our lakes here in Minnesota.
Less widespread, but grabbing lots of headlines, are carp from Asia, specifically the bighead and silver carp species, which pose a significant threat to Minnesota waters. Individual bighead carp and DNA from silver carp have been found in the St. Croix River and in the Twin Cities portion of the Mississippi River, indicating some fish are here.
The primary threat that Asian carp, both bighead and silver carp, pose is the fact that they can short-circuit the food chain. They're very efficient filter feeders. They take the phytoplankton and the zooplankton that all of our native fishes, from shiners to bluegills to walleyes to paddlefish, need for their basic survival. And they're just extremely good at this, and that way they can really outcompete our native species.
Eurasian water milfoil is one of the plant invaders which has become a nuisance in many Minnesota waters. The introduction of Eurasian milfoil to America can be traced to the aquarium trade, where plants were imported for use in fish tanks but ended up in local waters. Eurasian milfoil is an aggressive rooted plant that quickly grows to the surface. It spreads out across the water surface, forming an umbrella-like canopy that blocks sunlight and chokes out the native plants below. Milfoil forms dense, unsightly cover through which it's difficult to swim or navigate. Small pieces of milfoil carried on boats and recreational gear can seed a new invasion if they are carried to other lakes. Numerous attempts have been made to eradicate Eurasian milfoil and other invasive aquatic plants from lakes, mostly by chemical treatments or pulling, but these efforts have not succeeded in completely eliminating the plants. The reality that eradication is not usually possible means preventing it from spreading is a top priority.
Aquatic invasive species threaten Minnesota's rich lake and river heritage and history because they threaten the overall health of these waters. They greatly impact and at times reduce, maybe even eliminate our opportunities to use them in any number of ways. Now is really the time to act to protect Minnesota's rich lake and river history and heritage, because the science has shown us, citizens have shown us that all across the state, aquatic invasive species are having devastating impacts on our lakes, rivers, and streams.
Minnesota law requires everyone to clean off all plant material and any prohibited invasive species from their watercraft. This applies to boats, kayaks, canoes, personal watercraft, duck boats, all watercraft, no matter what their uses are. To combat the spread of invasive species, there is a 3-step, easy-to-remember process called Clean, Drain, Dry. It only takes a few minutes for boaters and outdoor enthusiasts to apply these simple yet effective steps every time they leave a boat access or body of water.
Got him. Oh yeah, finally. A little slow. Carp, as fun as they are probably, in my opinion, the most difficult fish to catch that we have in fresh water. You can sit around hundreds of these things and you can't get bit. Then all of a sudden, whoa, 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 things just turn around and they light up. You can leave that one in, Ryan.
First one. Oh, big one.
Look at that.
And there she is, my first Mercury. 154-stroke, the lightweight heavyweight. And she comes with all this. Say hi to Wendy from customer support. She's always there to help. Jerry from product testing, he dishes out the torture. They can take it. Good. And Tim from design, he never misses a detail, obsessed with quality. Bobby, prop engineer, he turns horsepower into performance. This is George.
It's good to have Mercury behind you. Meet the rest of the team at mercurymarine.com.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
The Edge is presented by these and other fine sponsors.
Yeah. You see the size of the reel on here. Whoa, whoa. This is one of these new Quantum Exo reels. The whole combo is pretty light. I got a 7-foot, 2 Lindner's angling edge rod by Quantum here, and 30-pound suffix braid in yellow as a main line to see the bites. But the big deal is this 30-sized reel. It's really important you're making long casts, so you need a lot of line capacity for the runs, and of course the casting distance as well. Can't control him, he's just making a mess here.
This is about the smallest carp I've ever seen on this lake.
But it's a nice fish, man. It's a big fish.
Kind of a carbon copy of that first one, Jeremy.
Yeah, it is.
A little
nice
smaller.
fish.
You know, the common carp has been around for a long time. Populations are established, but that doesn't mean we don't need to still clean, drain, and dry. Fish like this can still easily get transported into new waters, raise a lot of chaos, and decrease the quality of our fishing. So certainly in lakes that have established populations, get out there and enjoy them because they're a blast, but make sure that you do your part, clean, drain, dry when you pull out and go to different bodies of water, prevent the spread of these guys.
Hey, have you ever had a time in your life when something happened to you that you couldn't really explain? There was no natural words for it. Something you experienced that was truly out of the ordinary. For a lot of us, we would refer to those as miracle moments. I'm reading a book. In fact, you can see I just marked it up with a lot of tabs. It was really fun to me. It's titled Divine Alignment. And it says here, how God wink moments guide your journey. God winks. Those words really caught my attention. It says on the back, divine alignment offers a comprehensive approach for living our lives in harmony with God. Every minute of every day, offering a whole new paradigm for understanding the mysterious connections between people, events, challenges, and solutions. You know, I really believe that God reaches out to every single one of us every single day through people, places, the circumstances of life. The goal is simple, that we could make that connection between us and Him. I believe He tugs at our hearts every single day, every man, woman, and child that lives in this earth. I truly, truly believe that. And the way He describes these words, God winks, really got my attention. And this is a whole bunch of stories by people that confirm their experiences of God wink moments that can only be described as a touch from the hand of God. I know in my life I can refer to 5 times that there is no question in my mind something happened that I would have to call miraculous. No question in my mind about it. For those special, special moments, I had a tug, a call. It was totally out of the ordinary. Once in a while at a testimony, I share some of these things. But now that I know what to call them, how to define them as God wink moments. Think about those words this week and when you had a God wink moment. Hey, from all of us here at The Edge, you have a good, safe fishing season. We'll see you in the water.